right, Big Mama. I want to ask you something. Um, I know after we filmed, you were kind of thinking about other things to talk about.
Hmm.
Um, were there any other topics that you wanted to go over? And before you tell me that, hold on one second. I see a feather out of place.
We stay there.
I think it'll be fine. I moved it behind another feather.
Okay.
All right. So, um,
This hat is old, but I never wore
well,
it.
this was a perfect time to wear it.
Yeah.
So, you had a chance to kind of think about what we filmed and about what you said and everything. Were there some topics and stuff you wanted to go over?
I laid down that night and I thought of a lot of stuff. That
What
but
did you think about?
thought about the going to Mason Temple. I thought I missed something on that. And it was something else. What else was that I thought about? Because when I get nervous, I don't think it's good. I look like me, I'm nervous today. I don't know. But I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna do good
I
as
can
I
see
can.
it, Joe.
These lights, they
You
just
nervous?
make me nervous.
Okay. Well, you don't have any reason to be nervous. It's
I
just you and
know.
I.
See, I'm almost shaking.
Yeah. We just having a good conversation.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the camera. Everything looks really good. You
Mm.
look just as good as you did last time.
Thank
Um,
you.
so when it comes to remembering people's names or even years, that's okay. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
because it can just be like, well, that was in the
You
fifties.
know,
That that could be
I
yeah.
never forgot Mr. Caesar's name.
I
You
know.
know, I never forgot. I was thinking about that. I said, now I done forgot so many people's names. But I talked about that man, I never forgot his name.
Yeah, 'cause that was a pretty traumatic time.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to worry if you forget people's names. I don't want you to worry if you think, oh, I forgot to tell you this. Just tell me. I don't care. Because I'll be able to um, piece it together and make it look really good.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about any of that. And then, as you saw, I
Well,
put
I
that.
think we talked about how we was living down there. So I think I covered that all the way. But one thing I know I didn't tell you that we would have to take we get saga molasses in a tin bucket, and when we go to the field at 1 o'clock at 6 in the morning, we would have to take that water in that tin bucket. And by the time we would go down and to the first, chop the first cotton, you take a row down, then you bring a row up. And by the time we got back, that water would be boiling. And we had to drink that water all all day. I don't see how we did it. That's one reason that I knew it was a God, because if it hadn't been for God, we couldn't have made it. Out there, and it would be 100 degrees. and we ain't got nothing, no shade, no nothing. When you come off, you go down there and come back here where the shade at. You may run up there and just take your hat off and fan yourself a few minutes, then you got to go right back. It was bad.
Did you pray a lot?
Well, I didn't know too much at that time, 'cause when I found out, but I did. I used to talk to God. I'd heard about him, and, but my mom, she was so busy. She raised 9 kids, and she plowed a lot of times. She had to plow, and she worked so hard she didn't take us to the church. And when I started going to the church, it was with a lady that moved up there. And she took us to the church from somewhere else. And she took me to the Sunday school. It'd be Sunday school. It wasn't too much preaching, but I loved it. And every Sunday I would go with her. And I would ask God, I said, Lord, will a day ever come that I'll be able to set up on that porch like these white people did? We'd be going to the field and it'd be so hot. And they sitting up there, they didn't have no air conditioning because wasn't no electric down there at that time. They'd be out there fanning in the cool, And I just thought it was just so wrong that we had to go out there and they just set up and, and then when it get cool in the evening, they'll get them a horse and get on him and come down there to see what we did that day. Come down in the field. Too lazy to walk to the field. It was something, I'm telling you, it really was. And it is something that I never could, I didn't hate nobody. Because when I got the Holy Ghost, I loved everybody. And I never hated them. Never hated nobody. But, I just couldn't understand. Why? Because they white. They got to treat us like they don't. I just never could understand it. When I was a kid, I know it wasn't. That's Ann. I know it wasn't right. And it bothered me. Lord, I didn't know you was
right. And you see how you just talking to me, Mom? That's all we do. Just have conversation. Just whatever, just talk. Because she gonna put all this stuff together. It ain't, trust me, just talk. You was flowing real good. I'm like, oh, she's flowing good. Just talking. She don't remember. Just like how you was sitting over there on the couch and see talking. Just talk. Just talk.
All right, so before Ann came in, what were we talking about?
Oh, Lord.
Hold on. Let me think.
She knew it was wrong.
Oh, yeah, she knew it was
Did she
wrong.
pray a lot?
Yeah.
She was talking about in the fields and how they was, the hot water.
Right, and the people sat up on the porch and they was too lazy to come down to the field. They rode on the horse. Okay. All right. So, I want to talk a little bit more about how God came into the picture for you. So it doesn't have to be an exact age, but around what time and
Well, it was I got married, and my husband, auntie, had came up north, had been living up north, and she came back and stayed with her sister, and I was staying in the house too at the time, 'cause they had a huge house, and my husband was staying there, and she came and she told us that people up north, they live sanctified lives and they get the Holy Ghost. And we had never heard tell of that, you know. But I had knew, 'cause, you know, I don't know what it was, but I knew a lot of stuff wasn't right down there. I know the churches wasn't right, because they could go to the, well, I don't want to talk about the churches. Maybe I'll leave that one alone. Maybe I'll just leave that one alone, baby. Maybe I'll leave that one alone. I don't know about, well, and they would, you know, they would do everything that we did, because they go to the church on Sunday. Then they would look down on us. We would, you know, because I knew that wasn't God. I just knew it wasn't God. And had nobody never told me. I just knew that was wrong, and for them to do that. And they had never heard about the Holy Ghost and didn't want to hear about it. So we went to Memphis when Miss Grace come down, and she was telling the story to her sister, and I heard it. And she said, you know, up north, people's up there, they got holy churches up there, a lot of them, and people live holy, you know, and they tired, and they get the Holy Ghost. And you can tell them, and you could tell a person that had the Holy Ghost by just looking at them. You wouldn't have to know them. If you would see them and at the way they act and talk, you could tell they were saved. And you could walk up to them and say, "You saved, ain't you?" They say, "Yeah." It was different. And I told Miss Sugar, I said, "I want that." That was my husband's father's wife, my stepmother. And she said, "Well, if you want to go, I'll take you." 'Cause I didn't have no money, but she had money 'cause she was a midwife. And she said, I'll take you if you want to go, if you get somebody to take the kids. So I went to my mama, and I told her, and this was 1947. I was 21 years old. And I asked her, would she keep the kids so I could go? I'd be gone for a week. And she kept the kids. And I went to Memphis. First time I'd ever been out from down there. I went to Memphis. And you know, for the first week, they would just pray and fast for the whole first week. They would lock themselves in for 7 days. They didn't eat. They didn't drink. they were just there praying, and you would see them, they'd raise up, put their hands up and stretch, go right back down. And the 7th day, they would open up the kitchen, huge kitchen. And then they would open up the church. We would go every day, but we weren't hearing nothing. We just sitting up there watching them, being down there praying. Wasn't nobody talking, wasn't nobody saying. We'd go every day at 12 o'clock and stay till 12 at night. They'd be there when we got there, and they would be there when we leave. And the people that lived, that we was living with, told us. So they locked themselves in for 7 days. They be there day and night. They don't go home, they don't eat, they don't drink, they don't do nothing but pray. And that 7th day, they open up the kitchen, and that night, they open up for service. And the lady had told me, say, you don't have to tell me nothing. Say, if you get it, I know you got it. Say, when you walk in the door, I know you have it. I know what the woman was talking about. And I went on the altar that 7th day. And they put us all on the altar. And then they started having service. Started praying with us, and boy, I ain't never experienced nothing like that in my life. Ooh, them people just falling out like dead people. We were just falling out and couldn't get up. I remember I was on the floor and I cried to get up, and I was just crying out to God, just talking to God and just praising God and just crawling. I crawled all around that church before I could get up. And when I got up, my clothes was all wrinkled and some was dirty. And when I walked in the night, the girl started laughing. She said, you don't have to tell me nothing. I told you I would know. And I got the Holy Ghost. A lot of us got it the first night. I got it the first night because I went after it. And I got mine the first night. And that started my life. Before then, I was just down there. But after that, I knew it was God. And I knew he loved me. And I just knew anything I asked him that he was going to give it to me. I'm telling you, I was just so, and it was just, and my sisters and them, they would just laugh at me. And the church people, they didn't want us in the church. Monsieur, she went, but because every time I'd go, I'd get shouting, they'd come get me and tell me, you sit down there, you sit down, and hold me till I sat still, And it was a miracle, I'm telling you. And that right then put me on to my life. That started me having a good life down there in Mississippi. 'Cause I knew it was a God. And I felt him, and it was just so powerful. It was just so powerful. But now people, they don't tarry. You have to tarry for the Holy Ghost. If you don't ask for it and tarry for it, you won't get it. You could, and that started me on a good life. Because if I hadn't got the Holy Ghost, I don't think I'd have been able to bring my kids here. But when I got that, I just knew I could do anything. I got God. I got the Most High God part living in me. I didn't thought it was nothing that I could do. And I prayed all the time. And we had a man coming out of Memphis. Somebody had heard that there was 2 sanctified people, women in Mississippi, and they didn't have no church to go to. And that man came out of Memphis and preached for us. That show you how powerful that was. And we didn't give him nothing. Say he didn't want nothing. Say, I heard about y'all. And he was a good preacher too. Ooh, he could preach. And that started me on my way. And ever since that day, I knew that if I lived right, that I wouldn't have to want for nothing. Because God is able, huh? If you just it's a miracle. It's a miracle. I look back on my life since then and now, the difference that it was. And it was all about God. It wasn't about me. It was all about God. Everything I went at, I got it.
So about how long from the time that you had gone to Memphis to coming back to Mississippi did you decide it's time to move?
Well, that was, I left, I was 21 when I went to Memphis. And I was 32, I guess it was 11 days, wasn't it? Well, 11 years. Sorry about that, 11 years. From 21 to 32, ain't that 11 years? That I was down there.
So what was going on in that 11 years? Like, did you get, so you were already married, how old were you?
I was already married, and I was sanctified, and I was holy, and I was living the life. And my Emma, my daughter, down there, they taught us that if you have the pneumonia 4 times that you would die, and nobody lived by having the pneumonia 4 times. My daughter Emma, she had it 4 times, and when we had begun to have doctors then. When I was a girl, we didn't have no doctors. We didn't have no doctors. Our mom had a remedy for everything that hurted us. And she, when we got sick, she know what it was, and she know what to go get. Sometimes it was terrible. Some of the things was terrible, but that's what they did. Bad chinches. They made dough every day, and they take and pinch off a little bit of that, and put that bed bug in there, and make a pill, and we would swallow it. And the next day we okay. That was for chills. We would have some chills. People don't have that now.
So they would put a bed bug in some dirt.
I'm telling you, hon. I'm telling you. No, they would put it in the dough, would make up, pull off a little piece and make it thin and make it a peel. And we would swallow it. That's what they did down there where we was. Now other plantations maybe did something else. I don't know. But that's what my mom did. And another thing is real. I didn't understand it and I didn't want it, but I took it. But another thing, cow manure. They would get that when we got a cold, and they'd make a tea out of it. And we would drink that, and we got well. You ain't gonna put that in there. Just leave that out.
Leave that out.
But we didn't have doctors. We didn't have no doctors. And so by the time it was in the 50s when my kids were coming up, so they had a doctor that we could go to downtown. And if it would be necessary, he would come out to see you if the child was real sick. So Emma, my daughter Emma, you know Emma, don't you? She was so sick, hon. She was just out of it. She was in a coma like. And the doctor came out there. I called the doctor, and that was when my Ruby and Joby and Jolie, my baby girl, had passed away, and they was going to bury her. I couldn't go because Emma was sick. The kids went. They picked up Emma. And the doctor come out there, and he didn't give me, he said, well, said she is sick. And said, all I could say, if she lived to 12 o'clock, she might make it. She might make it. And honey, I went down there and stayed down there the whole time. And before 4 o'clock, I got on my knees and I prayed. I didn't get up. And the lady, the sharecropper lady that I was with, black lady, she come up there and stayed with me because she know my daughter was sick. And she said, and I wonder why is she down there on her knees? I guess she probably had never prayed before. And she said, this is done to me. She is praying. And honey, before 12 o'clock, she woke up. And she was well. I went down there on that floor and I got her hand and put one hand on her and the other on her face. And I stayed there crying out to God. And he healed her. The next day she was up and running around. Emma might have been 4. She might have been 4 years old.
So how long after that did you decide to move to St. Louis?
Now after that was because Claudia I was pregnant with Claudia when my husband died. And that was 1960. Claudia was born 1960, June she's born in June. I think it was 18. June. I know she was born in June.
Is she the youngest?
But I had another child up here. Duck is the baby. She's my husband's baby. And it was how long would it have been? Because
you decided to move to St. Louis after your husband passed.
yeah, that happened. That happened after he died too.
What happened after he died?
When Emma was so sick.
Okay.
And after I didn't stay down there, he died in January. And I moved to the black man and his wife. They was courtship. And Emma had to be about 4 or 5 years old when I brought her here.
So tell me about what led up to moving to St. Louis.
Well, I had moved off of the white plantation. I moved with a black plantation. And I probably still been down there. But, this white man, my sister lived in Memphis, and she come down, stopped in the store. And he sent me told my sister, I can't think of the man's name, but that's okay. He told her to tell me that I better talk to my son because he's throwing money up on the counter. And he said, Mama, I was just trying to give it to him. He's short, you know. And they'd have the counters up like this. I guess so the kids wouldn't have to be up there on them, you know. I ain't never seen no counters that high. Be up like this. And he just, you know, he said, Mama, I'm just trying to get a man the money. And that was my good son. Anybody in this family would tell you that not Joe B. If it had been the other boy, he was kind of, I would, you know, he might have would have just thrown it up there, you know, but not that boy. And I just couldn't understand it. I said, well, I told the kids, I said, I'm gonna leave him. I said, we gonna try to pick cotton, and we ain't gonna be picking no more cotton. And every day I tell them, I said, pick cotton, children, because we ain't picking no more cotton. And we picked it cotton, and I was trying to save the money because the black share worker even do good. He give you what you supposed to have. You know, it was sharecropping. And sharecropping, you supposed to take half and give them half. Because we did all the work, but they didn't give us nothing but them $200. And then, well, you got that on. But it was sad. And we picked cotton, and I wrote my sister and told her about what the man had said. And I said, I think I better get my kids out down here, because it's going to be a sad day. Y'all ain't going to have no more sisters and no more nephews and no more nieces. Because when I get through clowning, honey, they probably going to kill all of us. We gonna get out from here. We gonna get out of here. And she told me okay, and I told her to tell my nieces, my uncle, my nephews. I had 2 nephews here, and I said, tell them I want them to come get me. And they come and got me, and I put what things I could. They had a little trailer, and I put what little things I could, mostly I clothes, because I left everything. Refrigerators, stoves, and everything. And my 2 sons, they left with them, and the rest of the kids, I left and went to my sister's house. And that Monday, we got on the bus. Got on the bus.
So when you got here,
Mm.
you went to stay with your sister?
I went to stay with my sister, and we stayed with her about a week or so, and somebody moved across the street, and I got that house, and it was 3 bedrooms, a living room and a bedroom kitchen. And I went and bought some couches, and they had let out couches, and I put 2 of them in the living room. And 2 of them in the bed, 2 beds in the bedroom. I had 8 kids. 8 kids.
Now, what kind of work were you doing?
I wasn't doing no work. I didn't work. I stayed up here I worked about, I worked there for about, maybe been a year. And I got sick, and this white lady was so mean. Ooh, I got sick on the job, and she told me the nurse told me I need to go home. They had a nurse, and she'd say, you need to go home. So I told her, and she got mad. So, but I left. I went on home because I was sick. I was real sick. And she called me the next day and told me I was fine, and I told her okay. So from 2000 and, not 2000, from December the 61, that's when we left. December 61 when we got here. And to December of 61 to 71, I was just moving. That's what I was doing. Every time I would see a house, if I see I started off on record. The first house I moved in was across the street from my sister. Then the lady moved, and her house was better than mine because she had upstairs and downstairs. And I had my daughter and her husband over there in that room. Because I brought them. I told them, I said, I'm going. I said, she had just got married. I said, y'all can go or y'all can stay. And they said, we going. So we crossed the street, we seen the house, and the lady had, it was two houses, because they had a basement and had it fixed up for a house. And the upstairs, and I got that house, and my daughter, she moved on her husband, they had their house in the basement, and we was up, and then I moved on, well, the next year, I'd been walking down Park, and I would just ask God, I said, Lord, any house you put me in on this street, I'd be so thankful. I thought there wasn't nobody over there but white people, no black people on Park. And I was the second black person moved on Park. And then they started to move it out. After that, then more stuff moved. You know, when we started coming, you know, they would move. And I stayed on that, and then I moved again on Park. You ain't heard nothing yet. I was just trying to get my kids better situation. That's all I was trying to do. Go, you know. And when I left Park, then I moved on Park again. Moved up there on by the stove. Then I moved 3 times on Park. 3 times on Park. Then I moved on, I can't think of the name of that street, Vista. Then I moved over on Vista. Moved over there on Vista. No, I didn't. I moved on Vista. Anyway, I moved 9 times in 9 years. Every time I seen the house, I went after it, and I got it. And I said, that wasn't nothing but a miracle. Because I moved 4 times on, 3 times on Park, and one of them was where they would rent rooms out. It wasn't no houses. It was a big house downstairs and upstairs. And they rented rooms out. And the man rented that to me for $30-something. And give me all the furniture that was in it. What? Oh yeah, when we would move, we wouldn't get no truck or nothing. I asked my kids, I said, I wasn't thinking about nobody making fun of us then. I was just doing what I need to do to try to better my kids, And it was, when I would be gonna move in another house, I would do it at nighttime. And I had a lot of nephews. I had 3 sons. I had nephews and things. They just come, towed it on down the street, whatever. And I asked the kids one day, ain't been no time ago, I said, did the kids laugh at y'all? They go to sleep y'all here in this house, and they wake up y'all. Moved 3 times on Park and walked this furniture all the way down. Never rent a car, nothing. and moved to a place on Vista. What Christian was, wasn't that Vista? Yeah, on Vista.
So when you, so this house that you live in now, is this your 9th house or your 10th house?
This was the 10th
10th
house.
house, okay. So
And
you've
from,
been here how long?
and I did that I got here in 1961. In 1971, December, I came here in December. In 1971, December, I moved in this house.
So this must be your favorite because you've been.
Yeah, I said, this is it. This is it. I said, nah, this is it.
So when I want to back up a little bit.
But what I want to say, it wasn't nothing that I did. It was all God. Because my nephew, he came out here and looked at the house. And he told us that they called me Hootie. Because we all had nicknames down there in the country. Now, Hootie knows she ain't going to get that house. But I didn't get it. God got it. Everything I went at, God gave it to me. God can put favor on you and can't nobody turn you down. It was only God. It wasn't nothing that I did. I want everybody to understand that. It was God. Favor of God. Because the way I, come out of Mississippi, no education, I couldn't have did it. If it hadn't been God, I couldn't have did it. It wasn't me, it was God. I want everybody to know that, who it was.
Why did you move to this
The
house?
story of how you came to this house. Why? You tell the story. I was like, why would you move here?
Oh, yeah, that Ruby, my daughter, she had lost her sight. She lost her sight. Now, that move, that was so terrible. That's the worst thing ever happened to me. But God blessed her too. But she lost her sight, and she had 3 children. She had 2 sons and a daughter. And she had come to me, and we had walked up at the store that day, and then when we left, she bought the kids some things. We left, and we went down by my mom and checked on her, and then I walked home with her and the kids, and then I come on home. And that about before it got dark, she came, and she said, "Mama, I got a severe headache, so I decided that I'm just come on over here and stay." And 'cause my head was hurting me so bad. And I said, "Okay, Ruby, go on upstairs and lay down." 'Cause I was living in the up and down at that time. I loved that house. I had really moved on up. and she went upstairs, and went to bed, and when she woke up, she was blind. She couldn't see. And that was nothing but God just had her to come on over to my house. And she come to me, and I told her, I said, well, Ruby, you know, I had that big house, and it was up and down. I said, well, you just move in here with me. And she said, okay, and then for a while, and then she said, Mama said, I think I want me a house. And I said, okay, Ruby, I said, but the only way that if we can find her up and down, and I'll put you upstairs. And we couldn't find no up and down big enough for my kids, because she didn't have but 3 kids. So the most bed was upstairs, so we decided that we would just put her downstairs. And I was upstairs, and a boy broke in on her. And Claudia, you were down there, wasn't you, Claudia? Yeah, 'cause all the kids, they just cling to Ruby. You know, she would be never by herself, 'cause Claudia was down there, Emma was down there, Joseph probably was down there. And she wasn't by herself and her 3 kids. But this boy broke in on her. And she grabbed the phone and run in the closet and called me. And I answered. She said, Mama, somebody that broke in on us. And my boys, you know, I'd get ready to wake them up for school. They were just wasn't doing nothing but playing with me. Looked like they couldn't never get away. I didn't have time to come shake none of them. I went and got a bat. And I run through the house, and I told the boys, I said, somebody that broke in on Ruby. And child, that he heard us coming down. We were coming down them steps, and he got out of there. And so we had, Johnson had opened this place where you would go. Now, Missouri is not that good. They taught us that Missouri ranked with Mississippi when it comes to racism. And you don't have to put that on that baby. Johnson had opened up an office and paid peoples, because the welfare people there was treating us so bad. Child, that make you feel like a dog. And you know, it wasn't no law. And we Lord, I done left from what I was talking about, ain't I?
Now you telling me why you moved into this house.
Yeah.
So after
Yeah, we was yeah, I'm getting to it. And then after when they opened that office and people could come in and sign up, and they, whatever they do, if they want to march on something, they would want you to be there with them. So I signed up. And we marched on the welfare office. We went to Jefferson City. We marched on Jefferson City. And when I'm getting to it, all this is in the way. That's how I got here. So and the government had in that office was helping the welfare people to try to move on up, you know. And the lady told me, you know, I went and told her my situation. I said, I need a house. And I need somewhere that I could put my daughter upstairs and put me downstairs. And I would like to buy the house where we wouldn't have to move no more. And she told me, she said, well, Miss Tanksley, said, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna see what can I do. And so I was on the south side, and she got in touch with a real estate office over here, and up there in the Loop. That's where he was. And I had to come way over here to see him. And she got it set up. She said, I got you a good real estate office. Said, but it ain't over here on the south side, it's on the west side. You think you can get there? I said, yes, ma'am. I'm gonna walk over here. I'm telling you. And she sent me over here. And when I got here, up there, and he was always nice to me, and I didn't have no job. I guess he thought I was crazy coming to buy a house. But the God I served, that's what the Holy Ghost, you know, the Holy Ghost lead and guide me. I'm telling you. First time I came, he would take me in the office, just like I had money too. He'd get in there and he would talk to me and he'd say, Miss Tanksley, I explained to him why I need the house. I said, I really need a house. Because my daughter, somebody done broke in on her. And I need to put her up, I need to get a house where I could put her upstairs and where I could be downstairs. And he would talk and listen to me, and I would tell the story. And he said, okay, Mr. Tanksley, say, come back in 2 weeks. And I said, okay, leave out of there. In 2 weeks, I'll be right back. And that went on from spring, March, like, to December. He seen how bad did I want a house. Oh, he kept on telling me. Every 2 weeks, twice a month, I had to come out here. But I got out here. I don't know how. Different ones would bring me. And about 6 months that went by, I guess he said, I'm gonna see if this lady lying. He said, Miss Tanksley, he said, I would like to see your blind daughter. Bring her the next time. I said, okay. Next time, me and my daughter was right there. and December, I just thought, but he told me, he said, Miss Tanksley, he said, I'm telling you, he said, I wrote Johnson a letter, and I don't think he would lie. He said, I wrote him a letter about you. Say, I told him all you would want is somewhere to put your daughter where she would be safe. And in December, the 1st of December, when I left, he told me, say, well, you come back in 2 weeks, Miss Tanksley. And when I come back, say, you bring your daughter when you come back. And when I come back, he wanted, who was that? He wanted my daughter to sign too. So me and her signed. And then he gave us the deeds. At Christmas, we was in this house.
So who paid for the house?
Me and my daughter.
With no money?
With, well, the house was $1.50 a month. I told you he wrote Johnson. I don't know what they did, but we paid on the house for 30 years. And when we paid on the house, it was $1.50, and that was tax and everything. See, when you got God, that favor, that's what I'm trying to tell you. When you got God in your life and you live it right hard, you could do anything you want to do, because God will be right there. And by me looking back, the way I got all them houses, I never got turned down. Every house I went at, I got it. And I just don't understand. It looked like a dream or something. And when we stopped, it's supposed to have been paid off in 2001. Child, in no, it's supposed to got paid, I'm going back, 2001. 2001. And in 2001, they sent everything that they supposed to send us and told us it was paid off. In 2000, paid. Supposed to pay 30, we paid 29. Nothing but God. I tell everybody, I talk about this house, I tell them it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was the God that I served. And if I hadn't went and got that Holy Ghost, that's everything just would fall in place. And it gives me the power. When you know. I just knew that God wasn't gonna let me down. I knew he wasn't. And just like right now, I'll go to bed at night looking for a miracle in the morning, because I've had them. I went to bed sick and woke up well. The God I serve is a mighty God. Mighty God.
Well, we're going to stop here. Because you've been sitting for an hour.
Okay.
So we're going to stop here. And then when we pick up next time, we're actually going to pick up where I planned on us picking up.
What?
So I wanted to make sure that we covered some of the stuff that was missing from last time, so you covered all of that. All the stuff where you were nervous and you missed stuff, you did that this time. You answered all those questions, so we're fine. So the next time we shoot, we're gonna talk about JFK and MLK and how that affected you and all of that. But you answered all of the questions that were left unanswered from the last time, so we good.
If I say something that don't supposed to be on there, don't you put it on. Because I'm tending like it is.
What is it that you're worried about? You got nervous when we talked about racism.
That's the talk.
If it's some racism
Let's
going on.
be honest. People said more worse stuff than what you just said.
Did you lie to me on this thing?
No, ma'am, baby.
Well,
No,
all
ma'am.
right.
No,
So,
ma'am. No, ma'am. I wouldn't.
There's people saying worse things.
So you
No way. No way that I would lie. I'm speaking from the heart. You can believe what I say on anything. I probably left something off. Because, child, it was terrible. I'm telling you, I went through a terrible life. I'm not playing.
All right, so we will go ahead and stop here. And I'm going to get you unplugged. And again, I thank you, as always.
You don't know who that is?
You think I did as good as I did before?
I think you did that.
Oh, girl.
I